Welcome, everyone, to the Holstein House podcast. I'm the West Virginia woman, Robin, of RobinHolstein.com and Holstein House, where my guests get a great night's sleep at a fair rate plus breakfast. This is a podcast that looks at society and culture issues affecting families in West Virginia and the United States, from food preparation and storage, gardening, home repairs, current events, and more. We'll go around the table and back in 60 minutes or less. So let's hang out and talk a while. All right, kids. Well, the contractor's here, which is wonderful news. He brought a couple guys with him. I'm not sure how smoothly this edition will go. I have to take Dad to have some lab work done, regular lab work, nothing exciting, nothing out of the ordinary. Actually, I have to go too, so fasting labs for me. I hate fasting labs. I like to eat. That's just who I am. So I haven't had any coffee this morning, which I understand I can have coffee without cream, but what's the point? So I just want to talk just for a minute. I may come back in. You may or may not know it. I may leave it. I don't know. I don't know if you can hear the saw in the background. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. The dogs are very upset. Betty's whining. She can't. Our front door has this glass design in it, and most of it's kind of hazy looking, so you can tell there's somebody there, but you can't tell who it is. And so she sees movement through that window, but she doesn't know what's going on, and she's kind of afraid, which is sad, but that's just how it goes. I am drinking some water, hoping it will dilute my blood enough to not show a high cholesterol or something in my blood work. Because I know it's just going to be awful. I've gained so much weight this year, it's not even funny. I blame my back. The arthritis in my back is, it's in a spot that causes me to have spasms and stuff every now and again. And then my back muscles get weak from it. It's just a long story. So that's why in an SHTF situation, I'll be staying home. They'll be shooting me and eating my parts. So one of the things so the contractors are here replacing the columns. One of the things they have to do is lift and level the front porch roof. I don't think it's that far out, but I'm not a very good judge of that. We were putting a base for the chicken coop, and Mr. Holstein was measuring and using the level and all this, and I'm like, that looks fine to me. And he laid the level across, and it was like, oh my gosh. We had to put like 4 bricks under it. It was so off. But anyway, that's just because I've never been taught how to do that stuff, and I just kind of guess. But so they're having to do that first. I got to go start the car here in a few minutes to clear the windshield and warm it up for Dad. I would rather take my truck, but Dad can get in and out of the car a lot easier. So they're working on the front porch. Oh, I had mentioned last time about reaching out to people that you have contacted, and they said, okay, I'll get back with you. When do you follow up? Now, these are not like big time corporate kind of connections. This is one of them was someone who was going to do some housekeeping for me. One of them was somebody that needed me to do something for her. And hang on a second, sorry. So in the comments to that, Euphrosynos, who's been very faithful listener and commenter, said that I should reach out again to the women's shelter manager. And he says that I should do that because I did develop the cookbook for the project. And so I deserve a response on it. And I agree, but I also, I don't want to drive down there anymore. I have lost interest in that project, and I know that sounds terrible. At this point, I don't have an emotional attachment to the project. I don't want to see women, thrown out in the streets with no skills. That's what this place is about, this halfway house is. That's their role. That's what they're responsible to do. I was asked to help them do that, and I was ready, willing, and able to do that, and I've moved on from that now. The manager is actually taking some college courses, and I think that is what's caused part of the problem, is that she just doesn't have time to do what she needs to do on her end. If it's not that important for her to achieve her goals, I'm not going to beat her over the head with, hey, are you still interested? Do you still want to do this? When are we going to do this? I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to wait. We'll see what happens on that. It's always an option, but I'm not going to chase that one. I've got so many other things on my plate that I'm having to, reassess what all I've got going on, reevaluate the importance of all the projects, and then, realign all of the projects I've got going on. And at the time that I talked to her about this, I hope you don't hear that. The Telegram app is in the background making noise, and hopefully it doesn't come across. If it does, I apologize. Oh, what was I saying? Oh, at the time I agreed to do that and I put it all together, I didn't have the situation at my church that we have now, and I didn't have such a load on me from the church. So the church is my priority in all of these things. So I hear that gravel in my voice again. I'm sorry. I would have trusted the acidity of my coffee in the mornings to cut that out, but can't have it this morning. I really wanted to do this one live. I might do a live and post it for Thursday. I don't know. Tuesdays is good. I didn't have any choice in this particular appointment. Dad had to have it done. So there's if you've ever seen the movie Quiet Man with John Wayne, it's a classic John Wayne. There's a little song that the priest does at the wedding of John Wayne and Maureen O'Hara's characters. And one of the phrases is, "The humor has left me now." And so for that particular project, the humor has left me now, as that little tune goes. I can use the cookbook file as a free gift for a subscription service or something. I can think that out a little more. I could spend a little more time to make it look nicer. I mean, it's just in a report format. Betty, calm down, honey. She's upset by the contractors. The report format, a very basic kind of thing that people are going to see out there in the wild. That it's not all that attractive. Although the artwork and everything, it's all mine. The layout's kind of very basic. I could put some time and effort into it to have it spruced up a little bit to put on Amazon or something and sell it that way. I'll think about that some more. I did reach out to the young lady who was a potential housekeeper. She said she can't do it right now because during the deep freeze that we had over Christmas, her pipes burst in her place. I'm kind of thinking she doesn't want to do it anyway, because if it were me, and it's not me, and she has some medical issues that, she doesn't think the way the rest of us do. But if it were me, I'd be wanting some money for my pipes. So a couple hours for what I was going to pay would have been decent money for her to pay for her pipes and the supplies and stuff. Plus, I'd ask, can I take a shower after I'm finished? I don't have a shower. My pipes are burst. So, but that's me. So, I mean, maybe she does want it. Maybe this is just because of the way she processes things, and it's legitimate that she wants to do it but can't. I don't know. But I may be totally misreading it. I've done that before, and I will do it again. It's a character trait. I'm also really tired this week. I'm kind of hoping my lab work doesn't show anything that can't be corrected easily. But I've been really tired. I think I just am overcommitted. I have got to fix that. So the responsibilities I have with the church are exceptional. And they're exceptional because there's no one else to do them, and I'm not going to let the church close. And I am trying to work to bring people in that can help, take some of the, I don't want to say burden because that's a negative kind of thing, but some of the work and some of the responsibilities over, even if they're small ones, because even the small ones is ones that I wouldn't have to do. But I've got myself get out of balance again over the holidays, and I'm struggling to get back into balance. And that's another character trait. I do that. I take on way too much, and then I have to stop and say, whoa, wait a minute. I'm just overwhelmed here. And either push myself to, dispatch of the low-hanging fruit so that I can take care of the major things that I really want to, or I just have to abandon projects altogether. I don't like abandoning projects. I don't. So I don't want to have to do that. The ham radio license, I'm still listening to that book. The doghouse roof is slightly delayed because of the contractor issue here in the front porch, and so are getting more guests in. Those are some of the goals I had for overall this year. They're not out of reach, they're just delayed. So I've had to block the room because I can't have people coming in and out on the porch the way it is now. Partially because I don't want to say it's not safe. I mean, if you're just coming straight up the stairs into the front door, you're going to be fine. But it doesn't look safe with all the stuff sitting out there to do the work. And also, guests can be persnickety, and they pull up to a place and they expect it to be immaculate, even if you've had a situation. And they leave you bad reviews, and bad reviews cause people to not want to stay with you, or second guess, or compare other reviews. And I know for me, I don't necessarily let a single or a couple of bad reviews stop me from making a purchase. However, if it's an Airbnb setup like this one, I am putting a lot more weight on a bad review on an Airbnb thing like this than I would, or a hotel for that matter. Let me not just limit it to B&B, than I would a traditional, say, an Amazon purchase. Because, at the Amazon purchase, you're comparing thousands. I don't have thousands to compare to. So, I don't and there's just no reason to put myself and anybody else through it if we don't have to. They should be done today, tomorrow at the latest, and then we will move along from there. All right. So getting more guests in was the goal, and you can't do that when your doors are shut and the calendar is shut, and my calendar is currently shut while we're having this work done. It also, you hear me scrape some cat food. It also allows me a little more time to get my Christmas stuff put away. I actually did a post yesterday, but it didn't go up. Here, Cindy. Here, Cindy. Cindy, come on. Cindy. Talking to the cat. I actually did a post yesterday, and I never did put it up. It was called Day 3 of Christmas just removal. Because I've been trying for 3 days to get my Christmas decorations down. Part of it is my back, because I do X amount and I have to stop and rest the back. I did have a radio ablation on my spine this time last year, and it's really pretty much time to do it again, but I don't have the money to do it again at this point, because at this point in the insurance year, I've met 0 deductibles and 0 copays. And what I failed to consider last year when I scheduled it was that exact fact. And I needed to pay attention, and I got hit with all of my deductible and all of my copays right off the bat. Boom. Boom. I had to pay all those. So I took a big financial hit when I had that done. And the insurance was okay with it. But I had not considered the time of the insurance year. Let's see. So yeah, so the column has thrown me off about $1,000. It's going to be roughly $1,000 for the guy's work. There may be a few odd and end pieces I have to pay for, but we're pretty sure we have all the materials out there, even down to screws and stuff. So I don't know if that there would be anything else that we would have to provide. So I'm taking the $1,000 hit on that. Part of that might be able to be deducted on taxes. I'll keep the receipts and stuff for my tax people and tell them, because a percentage of the house is deductible because of the B&B here. Not the whole house, not everything, but a percentage. So, it may be 10%, so it'd be $10 or something. But that's $10 you didn't have to pay. And I'm not sure. I'm not a tax. I pay people to do my taxes because years ago, once I started my LLC for my initial business, Robin's Desktop, my consulting business, I knew I was out of my league with taxes, and so I just started paying people from Jump Street on that. Adding Holstein House BNB to it complicated it some. And my notary work, because I'm a notary public and I'm a notary signing agent, people in this area don't understand what a notary signing agent is. Even my tax people, every year when I go back, I have to explain. This part of what I do is untaxed as a sales tax, because it is an official, as a notary, you're in West Virginia at least, and I think everywhere in the U.S., as a notary public in the United States, or in West Virginia, I should say, your act, when you swear somebody in, or you have them swear to you that what they're doing is correct and true, and that they are who they say they are, that is a government act, and that particular act is untaxed. So in West Virginia, right now, if you bring me a sheet of paper that you need me to notarize your signature on, the simple act of the notarization is $5 max. I mean, I could charge you nothing, but the max I can charge is $5. If you bring me 10 pages and you need 10 individual signatures, one on each of those pages is $5. If you bring me one page with 2 people that need their signatures notarized, each of those signature is a separate act, and each of those signatures I can charge up to $5 for, just for the notarization. Now, what people don't understand is that if I'm coming to you as a mobile notary, or I'm coming to you to help a company that maybe you're doing a refinance, and you're doing your refinance with a company from out of state. They might reach out to me and say, how much do you charge to do this? I give them my rate. If they accept it, then they send the forms to me, and I print them out. I take them to you. I walk you through everything, showing you what you have to sign. I'm not allowed to explain any of the documents because I wasn't involved in crafting them, and I'm not an attorney. But I walk you through and show you where you need to sign. I notarize where it needs to be notarized. I take custody of those documents, and I take them and make sure that they get shipped back. The travel costs, the administrative fees, and all that other stuff can be whatever price I set to that company, and I can charge administrative, I can charge travel, all of that. And those things are taxable, but those each individual acts of notarizing a signature are set in state code as a maximum of $5 each act, and one signature is an act. But I don't want to go down too far in a rabbit hole with the notary work. That's not where I'm at right now. That's why I pay somebody to do my taxes. And I said all that to say that the money I have to pay out to have that column replaced, which I cannot do myself, combined with not having the room open because of the construction, which on the one hand isn't a whole lot, but on the other hand, until I get the handrails and banisters back up, could be considered a safety hazard, and is definitely an aesthetic issue, is setting me back financially and is interfering with my ability to move forward on some of the goals. Now, I also have to keep in mind, and so do you, that we are only on day 10 of this new year. So goals that you have for the new year are all of 10 days old. So don't beat yourself up too much. I'm rather aggravated, but I'm not going to beat myself up, so to say, over it. I'm not going to say, oh, yeah, I've messed up, and I'm multitasking again. Oh, I've messed up and throwing in the towel, didn't do it right. No, it's just a setback. That's all. And we have setback in life. We have lots of setbacks in life sometimes. I've had more than a fair share of my own, and not just simple, oh, I've got a piece of rotten wood that somebody needs to fix. I've had some significant things in my life, and one of these days I'll share them with you. But I don't think today's the day. I've had what you don't know, what you don't know, is that many hours have passed since I started my recording here on this podcast. And I have not only taken Dad to his appointment and come back, I have come by, the columns are up. I have run out to the Dollar General and the Walmart to get some things for our Bible study tomorrow. I have gone over to the fellowship hall and set up all the stuff. Well, all the stuff that can be set up this far in advance. Obviously, the food's not set out. But the tables are arranged, and the table coverings are on, and the coffee pots are up, and things are cleaned off. And I actually picked up quite a few outlet covers. Now, this is something you don't hear every day. Our fellowship hall is 50-some years old, I guess, built in the 70s. The outlet covers have been either completely broken off or severely cracked where a toddler could stick a fork back in them. And it's been that way for decades. And because of some of the things that's been going on in the church, I'm not going to get into today, I needed to be the one to replace those. And I chose today to do it because I thought about it while I was buying all the things for Bible study. But what I have to do yet for that, and right now I'm just kind of thinking out loud, so I remind myself, I have to take the projector screen thing over there. It's not the screen itself, it's the frame thing that holds the screen, and set it up. I ordered a small one for the church to have. I'll leave it there. It was under $20. I'll leave it there so that they can use it in the future instead of trying to hang a sheet up in the fellowship hall. We do have well, in its day it was a small television set, but it's really one of those thick ones, one of those old ones with the big thick back on it. But it was made for a bedroom or something, so it's not a console or a big living room TV. It's just for the day back in the 80s, it was a small TV. It's sitting on a counter. It needs to be removed. And I was at the thrift shops the other day, and I looked for one of the skinny ones. I've bought small TVs at the thrift shops before, and I was looking for one over there the other day, and I didn't find any. A lot of computer monitors, but no televisions. So I might, in a month or so, depends on how Bible study goes, I might pick up, because you can get them at Walmart now for right around $100. They're thin, they're light, they're good size. I might get one. And take over and put it in there and take that one out and just swap them out. And normally in a bigger church it would be an issue, but there's nobody that really even cares. And I'm just trying to do what I can until we can get some more people to come in and participate and help take some of the workload off. But my trust is in God and Christ, and they will see that the right things happen in their good time and not in my good time. So, listen, hey, don't forget, if you're listening to the podcast on one of the Value for Value podcasting apps, if you hear something today that is of value to you, I hope you will share that value with me. I know I've had a couple of folks there's a couple of folks that have been, with me since the day that almost the very day, maybe a few little after the day that I had my initial episode. And that's HJ and Euphrosynos. And HJ, here a few days ago, said he was listening to episode 25. Well, let's see, this says 25. Oh, that's not 25, was it? It might have come up, maybe it was. Anyway, he was listening to an episode on January the 8th and sent me 350 sats and said, I feel rebellious today, so since I appreciate your content, I will tip you some sats, with a couple of giggly faces on there. I think I made a snark about tipping versus... Oh, I need to add all these up. So I've got Euphrosynos that sent me 200 sats on the 5th of January. HJ replied to Euphrosynos' very loquacious comment there. User 215-493-8860-40620 boosted 100 sats. There's HJ again. Oh, that's the same one. And Euphrosynos was 200 sats with his comment about that I should reach out to the lady, my friend at the women's shelter / halfway house. Some kind of out of sync there on my, but I kind of owed it because the app has been so flaky for me for a while, and it was almost, I couldn't get to the comments and the sats and the activities. And now that the app has been updated, which I do appreciate very much that they got around to doing that and getting it out to me. Now I got to learn how to use it again, because my activity feed is now under promotions. On the home page, you've got discover, and then you've got promotions, then you've got activity, and that's fine. But it's not all in one spot. And that's not where, but I can do the search again, and I can look at who's hot on Fountain again. I think, yeah, there we go. And a lot of the old standbys are there. Jack Spirko's Bitcoin Breakout is always there. Tina and Adam Curry, sorry. Survival Podcast is always there. Sometimes Permaculture Pastors is there. Sometimes Toolman Tim is there. I've been there twice, but that was way back. And I think it was a holiday weekend anyway, when there wasn't a whole lot going on. I don't see Permapastor Farms. Maybe I spun right past them. Or they may not be there this time. But so that's back up. The podcasts appear to be working again. My wallet appears to be, it's laid out a little different. The number of sats is at the top instead of over in a corner. And let's see. Yeah, that's where I was streaming. And the 7 days seems to work. Transactions. 30 days. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be doing this to you. There should be no dead air. Anyway, so let's see, where am I at? So that's okay. So they're if laughter counts as something of value to you, if you need a good chuckle, there you go. It's been hysterical, hasn't it? Now, look, how much time have I got going here? I gotta watch my time today. We're 32 minutes in. So I did you see the story? You probably didn't, because it involves West Virginia. But yesterday, on January the 9th, there was a story in our local paper, or online edition of the paper, with Bill Gates. Yes, that Bill Gates, coming to West Virginia, my state, coming to Kanawha County, my county, and going to a shuttered coal-fired power plant in the small community of Glasgow. Glasgow is about 8 miles east of me. Southeast, if you're really technical. I think it's closer to east. So I guess east-southeast or something like that. Anyway, it's 8 miles up Route 60, give or take. The power plant's probably 10 if you go to the front gate. So it's still there, most of it. They've taken some of it down, but most of it's still there. It's still along the river. And in its day, it was just a community monster. I mean, it just employed so many people, poured so much tax revenue into the local economy, and that area just was in really good shape. Well, they shuttered that dumb place, Appalachian American Power. Oh, I don't have all that in front of me now. I had it written down. I've walked up and laid it down somewhere, and I don't know where it went. But so Bill Gates apparently has a he's building a nuclear power plant in I think it's Arizona. Let me think. Let me see where I can find my link. It's oh, rats. Oh no, it's in Wyoming. And it's a little town called Kemmerer, Wyoming. And so he's gone in there, and I'm going to give you the abbreviated Reader's Digest, not just the Reader's Digest, but the abbreviated Reader's Digest version. So Bill Gates is out there in Kemmerer, Wyoming. He took this very similar situation. He took a small coal-fired plant. He is rebuilding it to turn it into a small nuclear power plant. So it's I'm not, this is not my science. I don't understand all of this. So it's going to be hard for me to relate it back to you. So it's a sodium cooled nuclear reactor plant for creating green energy. And so Bill Gates gets this plant in Kemmerer. He makes it his demonstration plant, his first one. And but he had, part of the problem he has is the uranium he needs for this plant. He's got a contract with, wait for it, Russia. He's getting his nuclear uranium, or the uranium, or he's supposed to be getting his uranium from Russia, the same Russia that invaded Ukraine. Oh my God. So now this is the same Bill Gates that has bought up farmland across the United States. This is the same Bill Gates that made comments about the world population. This is the same Bill Gates who is not just pro-vax, he's pro-vax mandate. This guy, I don't know. So what I'm struggling with here is, and I put this, I'm new to the Telegram app and communities in Telegram. And right now I'm in Telegram. I use my name, and I've got Liberty Meat Chat. I've got Living Free in Tennessee group, and Toolman Tim's Workshop chat as groups that I'm in, and that's just because that's where I've heard most people talk about this app, Telegram, and so I've been chatting a little bit here and there with people there about little stuff. And so I asked Toolman Tim about whether I could put a link to a news story in there, and I said I'm in so many different things and I can't remember the rules on all of them. What's the rule on news links? And he's like, well, he's not. He'd rather not have links, but it's okay here and there. He just doesn't want it, but know that if he sees that the conversation's getting out of hand, he could delete it. And I'm okay with all that, because this is his particular little chat room or group or whatever it's called in Telegram land. And so I put a little bit about the story. I put Bill Gates was in West Virginia today because I asked this question yesterday. One of our state senators, Joe Manchin, took him to a shuttered coal plant, and it should have been coal-powered plant, around 8 miles or 13 kilometers from me. He said he didn't commit, but he hinted at seriously given consideration to building a second sodium-cooled nuclear reactor at the site of the former Kanawha River plant. And the Kemmerer, Wyoming sodium-cooled nuclear plant is delayed because the only source of fuel was uranium from Russia, who is now at war with Ukraine. And then my question to the group was it went like this: I'm suspicious of Gates, unsure about nuclear, but aching to see new industry come to my community. I'm going to mention it in the podcast tomorrow, and I'm interested in what you folks think. Well, I didn't have a lot of response, but the response that I got was mostly that folks are okay with nuclear power. It's safe and it's clean when done right. And somebody said, especially thorium reactors, good fuel from Canada. Nobody commented on Gates, which I found very interesting from this group. A couple more did comment that they hate seeing communities run down and things look awful, and yeah, that's yeah. A lot of West Virginia looks bad when you get away from the ski lodges and the hippie communes. We got a few of those. Hare Krishna, college campus and stuff. When you get out in the real world with the rest of us, it doesn't look all that great. Even the mighty downtown Charleston is starting to show its wear and tear. But so I'm so on the fence here. I want my community, my greater community, and I don't live in Glasgow. Like I said, I live about 8 miles away. But I'm so suspicious of Bill Gates and anything that he touches. I cut my teeth on all products Microsoft. You know, the first computer I built, and I mean I went to the computer show, I picked out the stuff that I wanted. Well, they kind of put it together, and then I purchased the software packages. I put the software on it, except for the initial operating system, which I told them what to put on it. Well, I bought the hard drive; it already had it on there. But so you know, I did that. I used WordPerfect in the past, but where I was working, it was Microsoft. Microsoft was the dominant software package, period. And so I've cut my teeth on Microsoft. I do use OpenOffice on occasion. I don't use it very much. I'm probably going to head back in the direction of OpenOffice because as I transition away from my consulting company and some of the things that I have done with it in the past, I don't need to pay for all of that stuff anymore. I have to also, something else I need to probably put on my list for my goals for this year. Let me get that page up here. Hang on, bear with me while I do some clickety-click. Or some click. Let me get back, click, and scroll. Let me get back up to my goals here. And let me add, and I should have done this before because my friend Lisa, when we were talking, when I interviewed her, she mentioned that she doesn't keep anything on the cloud. I don't really care one way or another that it's on the cloud. I just need to get it off the cloud. Okay, so get the roof on the doghouse, get more guests in, put a little more cash into Bitcoin, and oops, I cut that sentence in half. I didn't mean to do that. Here we go. Pow. Move my stuff off the cloud. So So yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to move my stuff off the cloud. So that means investing in some storage devices. Probably got 8 million USB sticks around if I gathered them all up in a box. And more than a fair few SD cards and micro SD cards. But I want to move my stuff off the cloud. Things that, even photos, I want to get that stuff off the cloud. And then, let me put this up there as well as a use more open. Oh, no, that's not the word I want to use. Yes, it is open office. Use more open office. Because honestly, I'm getting too cheap to pay for this crap. It doesn't help. Okay, well, I kind of don't like using Google products, but some of it's just no choice. All right, so there's that. So let me back up really quick and get to this mess with Bill Gates, which is how this got squirreled. So I don't know much about this sodium cooled stuff. I don't want to become a scientist to understand it, but I do want to understand the safety compared to the 3 Mile Island kind of cooled. I guess it's water cooled uranium nuclear stuff, reactor stuff. I want alternatives. I want my people to be careful, however, that we're not taken advantage of again, like we were with the coal industry and other extractive industries in this state. I generally have no issue with just straight out capitalism. The problem is, especially in this state, where the development of the coal mines and things were such that these huge, and it's different because we have highways and stuff now, but at the time that the coal mine wars happened, you had very little communication, you had very little transport in or out, you were almost a slave. So, because you couldn't get away. Nowadays, it's not that difficult to get away. You can hop on a city bus. You can call an Uber, for heaven's sakes. And everybody's got a cell phone of some sort because the government makes sure even the low-income people have them. So there's options. There are more options out there in today's world than there was. But in our desire to provide energy to the world, to the nation, and to the world, this is a it is an industry that my people are familiar with for generations. It's almost like seeing King Coal again, only this time it might be King Uranium. Except the uranium's not coming from here. I'm probably not being real clear. I know in my mind what I want to say. I'm concerned that in their zeal, our government is going to give us away and just, they opened up to nuclear power. I'm okay with that, mostly. I'd like to understand a little more about it, but I don't want it just completely shut off. I'm going to be just 8 miles from that place if it goes bad. So I'm probably going to be evaporated or vulcanized or whatever it would be called. I'm concerned about repolluting the waters of the Kanawha, of the Great Kanawha, not the Little Kanawha. Well, all of them, but I live, half a block from the Great Kanawha. I don't know what those kind of plants do. I don't know. Are there any of them in the world, or is Bill Gates building the first one out in Wyoming? I need to look a little more. It kind of, if I had still been working at the Chemical Alliance Zone as the contract office manager there, I probably would have seen this coming because we were heavily involved in those kind of things. I left that several years ago. So I'm kind of flat-footed on this one. I want to be very happy for my community and my state. I just have this really weird uncertainty about it. I mean, if he can't get uranium from anywhere but Russia, there has to be other sources, and surely they're not all, countries who hate us. I just don't see that going well. I'm going to put the links to the two stories in the show notes, by the way, for that. And I have all kind of weird links in my show notes. They go on forever. I know they really shouldn't, but they do. Okay, so let's see. I'm coming up on 50 minutes, so I should start wrapping this. I haven't talked much about the BNB. Here's something I want to do. I listened to a lot of you guys on a lot of my favorite podcasters and YouTubers while I'm doing other things, while I'm getting dressed in the mornings, while I'm making the beds, while I'm cleaning the house, while I'm, on headphones, while I'm running a vacuum. I listen to a lot of content. And I have my favorites like everybody does. And recently I've heard a couple of my favorites at different times bemoan an Airbnb that they've stayed at. And there have been some commonalities between these. They have tended to be standalone sites, absentee managers. So you go in and you want your own place to yourself, but you go in and you find out, for instance, that the heater doesn't work and it's cold outside, and you contact the manager. Oh yeah, it's working. No. Oh, I can see my breath. I'll have to check it tomorrow morning because he doesn't live next door. Or it's just dirty, or it doesn't look like its picture, or there's all kinds of ors there. I have to say that rare has been the time that any of my guests have said that the house was not what they expected when they read the description. My house, my B&B, I'm warts and all up front. It's a 1920s era home. It's got a shared bathroom. Hello, people, shared bathroom. There's a clue there. The bedrooms are upstairs. The bathroom is downstairs. There's another clue. I did have one lady. She was older. She complained, actually, even in her review, that there were stairs, but it's all over the place. It's just out there. I had one person complain that I had pets, but I don't hide the fact that I have pets. So people, and I'm not saying this about the YouTubers and the podcasters that I listen to did not read. I'm not suggesting that at all. I'm saying that the negative reviews that I have, what very few ones that I have, are where people did not read the description. They just saw there was a vacancy. It was somewhere close to where they were going. Boom, they clicked it. Boom, they reserved it, and that was it. Mr. Holstein has stayed in Airbnb before, and I was very, very concerned that he paid very close attention to the details on it. And there were only a couple things that were different, and that's because of some time had passed and some things were changed, and the listing wasn't updated. But it wasn't detrimental to his stay. It wasn't like they didn't have any water anymore. When I open my calendar and I let people stay here, you're treated like family in the good sense. I don't treat you like the redheaded stepchild. I treat you like beloved cousins, like family. There was a time in the United States, and in the world probably, I can't speak for the rest of it though, when you could write a letter to a cousin who may be like, you know, your Aunt Sarah's husband's sister's husband's nephew's wife, and you would call yourself cousin. I'm going to go say with cousin so-and-so. And you do that. Or people, you know, traveling to the United States, immigrating here through Ellis Island or some of the other ports of entry, and they would find distant relatives to stay with on their travels. And so I want people to feel like they're a relative, that we're distant relatives. And I you know, my house is, I live here, but that room is for you to stay in, and I want it to be clean, and I want it to be neat, and I want it to be safe. And we may share the bathroom, but you only have my word on it, but you only have the word of anybody in a big hotel that housekeeping actually cleaned it. I'm cleaning that bathroom before you get here, before you use it. I'm cleaning it after you leave. It's going to be cleaned. And not just kind of, you know, wiped off with a paper towel. It's going to be Lysoled. I use Lysol and I use Clorox products in the bathroom specifically. I use Lysol when I disinfect the guest room. I don't fart around with that. Oh, a Bob Evans thing just popped up on my phone. Lord have mercy. Anyway, so I want you to feel like family, but I don't want you to feel put upon. If you come in and you want, if you're the chatty kind, I'll chat with you. But you got to understand, when I have to stop chatting, I have to stop chatting. But I've noticed that there's been a few folks that have been disappointed by their Airbnb stays, and that's kind of another reason why I do a direct booking, is so that to take Airbnb out of the picture. I do the direct booking from, right now it's from robinholstein.com, and go to the menu and look for the Holstein House page. And you'll learn about the house there. You'll learn. There's things that creak here. There's things that aren't square, you know. It's an old house. We haven't redone everything. We haven't gutted it and made it all, you know, 2020 instead of 1920. But we have Wi-Fi, and we have electric, and we have running water and hot water and stuff. And, you know, and I've told you before, I'm trying to learn to do the macchiato and stuff like that. So I'm having fun doing that and sharing it with people who come and stay. Oh, gosh, dog it. How much time do I have? Oh, I don't have much time at all. Listen, so here's something else that I want to try to do. I'm going to, and I'm not putting this as a goal because I have to work it out some more. I'm going to, my plan is to do a series of videos on YouTube of breakfasts I can serve on special order, and these have to be ordered in advance. It has to be through direct book, can't be through Airbnb. You know, and there's a couple of really nice breakfasts that I can do for people, and I want to show you how I make those, and how I plate those, and how I serve those, and how you can order them when you come and stay. And I might even do a series. I kind of need to get the YouTube, and I may have to split the Holstein House from the YouTube, because the YouTube is in my name and not Holstein House, but we'll see. I'm going to, I think, walk through my cookbook. I think I'm going to walk through the cookbook in cooking segments and cook the things on video while I explain it. I did them all. I did all the pictures and stuff, but I was rushed. I had to hurry and do things, but I think I'm going to do that. That might be a project I need to look at that some more. But I'm going to go so that I can wrap this up within the hour that I like to try to stay, and hopefully it won't run over. Oh, it's going to be really close. That's it. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye. So there you have it. Post your comments, do all that boosting, liking, sharing, thumbs up, and stuff that helps spread the word and poke the algorithms. Follow me on most of the big social media platforms, and look for my name, Robin Holstein, or Holstein House. Till next time, bye-bye.